This video is part of the Talented Creators Collaboration. Of course, this isn't really the video that I wanted to upload for this playlist, but you know, the video is perfect in my head and not so perfect in being created. So since the theme was your choice, one must include a mirror, I went back in my 2 years on YouTube and I found 3 mirror DIYs, so I'm going to share them with you. Our hosts are DIY with AUREA and LOLI's creation, that's AUREA and LOLI, and then guest host is LAPARSHA and myself as the co-host. The project numbers are going to be out of order, but I hope you enjoy. It's when my channel was in its infancies, so it's pretty basic stuff, but I hope you enjoy it. And I apologize for not having new content. I know everyone worked really hard to get something new out there, so I apologize for that. But I hope you enjoy what I'm putting out here. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the video. Project number 2, boho neutral hanging mirror. We start off with a few things from Dollar Tree. I have this decorative nautical rope, the jute twine, and the small wooden cubes that are about half the size of tumbling tower block. I also have these wooden beads, but I purchased those off Amazon, and it was a package with various sizes. I believe my larger size here is 20 millimeter. The black circular thing you see there was the border for the mirror, which I've taken off. I'm just going to use the plain mirror. I have this circle that I purchased from the thrift store for 25 cents, and that's going to be our base. So to start, I want my small beads to be like a whitewash, and then I want the black ones to be pretty dark. I want them to take on a lot more color than the white ones did. So I keep adding paint to water and stirring until I'm happy with the coverage. And then I'm just going to glove up and get them out of there and set them aside to dry. So while we're waiting for that, we're going to get the mirror attached to the cardboard. And I use E6000 on 2 blocks and hot glue on 2 blocks. And it doesn't matter which ones, you just want the immediate hold and the long-term hold. And I'm using blocks because I want the mirror raised, because we're going to put the rope and the beads around it, and I don't want it to get lost in that. So I'm just taking my time here because I don't want to get glue all over the place. And I check and make sure, I believe I had to smoosh it over just a little bit, but I'm going to put that paper on there so we don't get the mirror all messed up. Here I'm finishing up the beads. I actually put them on fluoro wire instead of twine. And I just do a little spiral at the end so they don't fall off. And I'll make a more permanent knot at the end when I attach them to the mirror. So I mixed together Adirondack and Castle Folk Art chalk paint, and that made a nice color for the border. I wanted to dull down that silver. Next, I'm going to go ahead and make 3 tassels for the decoration, kind of like the Dreamcatcher inspired wall hangings that we see a lot. Instead of feathers, I'm doing tassels. So, I like my tassels on a doubled up rope with it's actually a lark's head knot if you're familiar with macrame, but it's basically just a loop, and I pull the loop through it and then pull the tails through the loop, and it's less knots to worry about. So I noticed I had a couple extra beads, and I decided to add those to the tassels. Just make them more visible. I decided on 3 tassels because I thought that was going to look best with this size of mirror. And the tassels, I believe I wrapped it 20 times around a piece of cardboard, and then cut off the ends and fixed them all up and made them all pretty. And here I'm just gluing them, and I'm bringing the rope for the tassels up underneath the mirror so I can glue them, and it just kind of disappears because I'm going to have the decorative rope and beads over top of it anyway, so it's not going to show. So just a nice even bead of glue there. And I'm going to work on getting the beads on the floral wire there. And basically what I do is just pull a piece of wire through the last bead and then pull on it to get it as tight as possible, and then I'll just twist the bead around at the end so it's not visible. So I put down the E6000, and without thinking I put the hot glue down the same way, and then I realized, what the heck, that's like way too much hot glue. It's just gonna get cold and not work. So I got rid of that and went back again with a smaller amount of hot glue, and that was fine. And here you see me twisting the bead so we can make the floral wire disappear in the back. I'm just going to wrap it right around, hot glue at the top and bottom, and we got the E6000 on the sides. And unfortunately, I don't know why, but the number of beads was off, and I ended up having to take a small bead off, and now I have two black beads right next to each other there. But hopefully that's not going to be super visible. There's not really anything I can do about it. And then next I'll do the decorative nautical rope, and then after that the black and white cotton twisted rope. I actually sketched this out beforehand and decided that that's what's going to look best. Beads, nautical rope, black and white rope. I also was going to embellish it at the end with some jute twine at the top, bottom, side, and side, but after I finished it, I looked at it and I thought, this just looks kind of messy. Like I think the jute twine was just a little too thin and gathered up. It didn't look right. So I took that off and deleted the footage so I can pretend that it never actually happened. This beautiful black and white rope came from Amazon. It was $14.99 for 50 feet, and it's just gorgeous and soft, and I just love it. I'll show you how I finished this mirror at the final reveal. Project number 3, pizza pan ship's wheel. And this is the final project in this video. We have the pizza pan, the mirror, and the nautical rope from Dollar Tree, and then we have these paint stick ends or paint stick scraps. I just actually kept them for no reason, and now I'm going to use them, so I was happy to have them. We just matched them up so the little curved area is all pretty much the same, and then I just marked the bottom so I'd remember that that's the part that gets glued on the back of the pizza pan later. So everything gets a coat of white paint. The paint sticks here, and I'm just doing the one side because the back side's not going to show. And also I'm going to be gluing, and I want like the bare wood for gluing. Once I'm done with the paint sticks here, I'm going to give a fresh coat of paint to the mirror frame, and then a fresh coat of paint to the pizza pan. And not the whole pizza pan, again, it's just not necessary, and there might be some glue there. I want to make sure they don't stick together. You'll see me separating them. And I love using wax paper to glue stuff. I don't know what I did before I started using it. So here you see me doing the edges of the pizza pan, and there's the mirror frame, and I'm going to put the mirror back together with some E6000, and then everything gets distress paint. The distress paint colors are maize, java, and castle. So basically gray, yellow, and dark brown, and everything gets a little treatment that looks kind of choppy until you start distressing it with a sanding block or a wet paper towel. So the pizza pan gets the sanding block. The mirror frame used the paper towel, and then the paint sticks I used the sanding block. And that's just me gluing the mirror frame down. I used just E6000 because it's a mirror and I want it to be on there good, especially in the bathroom with the heat and humidity. So I covered the mirror with paper towel there. No particular reason, just didn't want you to see my concentration face. So everything's been painted white, painted distressed, and then sanded or wiped down. And that just softens everything and fills in the lighter colors. And now that the painting's all done, we're going to get the nautical rope in there, and that's going to give it that total nautical feel. When Cindy from Monarch Mom did hers, she had the little frisbee and she wrapped the rope around the frisbee in the middle. So with the pizza pan, I had to wrap it around. But I think I get a similar effect like she did. So I used hot glue for the nautical rope. Got it all around, cut it on a diagonal to finish it. And now I'm going to get these little spokes on, I think you call them. And I'm just checking to make sure they are the same length, so then I know where to glue them. So each end of these paint sticks had that little smear of E6000 on the end, and then I put a little bit of hot glue above that and then press it down onto the back. And then I just used a little stick there in the middle as a guide. So like I did one side, and then I would do the stick like that to do the other side so they matched up. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to flip it over and it's like night and day. It looked like a hot mess right until the very end here. And we're going to clean up the mirror, and then I'm going to give you a better look at the final reveal. Project number 2, Sunset Mirror. So I'm calling it a sunset mirror because I still have those colors in my mind from the previous project. And the previous project I ended up just using the blues. So I choose some sunset themed colors, or a sunset themed color scheme. And so this project involves some paint stick scraps again, a Dollar Tree mirror, taken off the frame and the backing, although I will put the backing back on later. I was going to use some nautical rope, but I decided not to. So I'm just going to get these paint sticks painted in like a wash color. So I want to be able to see the wood underneath, and I want to be able to see like imperfections and brush strokes and whatever. I chose 10 paint sticks. 12 probably would have been easier to figure out as far as the pattern goes, but I'm not sure if 12 would have fit, and I didn't really want them to be overlapping. The ship's wheel mirror that I made in the previous video had 8 paint stick scraps, so I chose 10 for this one. And I really like the water finish on them. I started off pretty thin mixture, and some of them I did maybe 2 or 3 times until they got as dark as I wanted, not too dark. But anyways, the backing I wanted to be painted as well. I just wanted it to look a little bit more professional, a little bit more high-end. But I can't believe how close in color my castle paint is to the color of the cardboard. Like, unbelievable how close it is in color. Like it was almost like, why did I even do that? But I did do that and then realized how floppy and bowed and just not very strong that cardboard was, and there was no way it was going to support all those paint sticks and the mirror. So I found a wood round that is just a little bit smaller. So I figured that's perfect because it's not going to show on the other side. So I smeared some E6000 around the outside edge, and I decided to put the hanging rope on now because it would be in between the two rounds. And that's just such a nice strong hold I couldn't resist. So I'm careful not to put the hot glue where the E6000 is. I make sure they're separate. You get the strong hold and the in-between hold, and that worked great. So I'm able to keep working on this, and all that needs to be done now is to figure out the pattern on the paint sticks. But it was a little bit frustrating. I had to turn the camera off at one point because I just could not figure it out. I was like, oh my gosh. But I realized I need a top, bottom, and 4 on the sides because I have 10 paint sticks, whereas the ship's wheel had 8, and I had top, bottom, side to side, 1 in between, and that probably sounds pretty confusing. But it just, having 2 extra messed up the pattern, but I really wanted it to be a little bit fuller without overlapping. So I figured out where 2 inches was on the sticks, and then I kind of held them there while I glued them down. And you'll see it hanging up at the final reveal. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up.